So, my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin is at 106,300 US dollars. We're seeing a slight pump upwards. After last week's dump, we're at least seeing a small recovery now. Altcoins are also moving up a bit, but it's still not quite the real deal. We need to make sure we get above our resistance level. I'll definitely talk about that in today's update video. Of course, we'll also take a look at Ethereum and Solana, because there could be some movement there as well, at least in the short term, possibly upwards. But here too, we need to keep an eye on the resistance levels. We still don't have any new developments regarding Israel and Iran, even though I think there are supposedly some peace talks happening, but that's not really confirmed either. So it's still a good idea to act a bit cautiously. We'll definitely also take a look at the heat map. But before we get started, feel free to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, join the free Telegram Talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, you're more than welcome to join. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we talk about here, and where you can currently grab up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses, then feel free to sign up with my partner exchange BingX using the link below in the video description or in the comment section. The link for that and everything else is down below, and by doing so, you're also supporting the channel, or me, for that matter. So, Bitcoin is at just about $106,400. After hitting our low down here at $100 to $2,600, we've now entered a solid sideways phase over the weekend, or at least formed one. It's a very tight range again, which we're at least trying to break out of right now. So honestly, nothing particularly spectacular has really happened. Still, we're trying, and as I already mentioned in last week's update video, or actually, when was it? I think it was on Friday, that this is basically my plan for now. If we now, continue to fall further down here, or if we reach our golden pocket up here, where one or two vector candles are also basically waiting for us, then our resistance is initially up here between 107,600 and 109,000 US dollars. Last week, we talked about these two long areas here, with a stop loss below 106,000 US dollars, so 106,000 US dollars. Still, up here, this is our final boss target. At least for me, that's the golden pocket. If we take a look at this on the 4-hour time frame, we still have a significant wick up here. After that came the sell-off. That means there's still quite a bit of liquidity up here. Golden pocket and efficiency, and also the 0.786 level. If we can break out of this zone to the upside, then, as I said, the play is still 114,000 to 116,000 US dollars. Let's remove these yellow lines here to make it look a bit cleaner. So, that would still be the overarching target I would go for. At the moment, I wouldn't go any higher than that. That means the bearish scenario is that we get rejected up here and then continue the move down towards, let's say, 93,000 US dollars. If we look at the funding rates, surprisingly, they didn't really go up over the weekend. In fact, they even went down a little bit. That's also a good sign that there are still a few more shorts in the market right now. And if we look at the heat map from a weekly perspective, you can still see this big, bright, yellow, glowing box up here around 111,000 to 111,500. The first level in between would be 109,000. That would also line up perfectly with our golden pocket here. So, a lot of things are coming together here. If we break above that, it will probably move up pretty quickly, and then with short liquidations up here at the all-time high level, we could probably break through 116,000 US dollars for the first time. As I said, that would be the bullish case. Still, we have to wait and see how things develop over the next few days. Are there any new news developments? This week is also our Fed interest rate decision. We also shouldn't, lose sight of that. That means the chance that we'll see at least a slight recovery in the next few days after Friday's dump, or over the last few days before that, is very high. So first we'll see a recovery, some liquidations, short liquidations, and then, in my opinion, things will be decided up here. Let's move over to the altcoins. How are things looking for Ethereum right now? Ethereum is still holding its support. We're still in this huge sideways accumulation phase. Here too, the bullish case is still intact. The first move up would be toward 2,700 to 2,730. That would put us back at the upper edge of this range again. If we break through, the target remains 3,000 US dollars, but if we get rejected here too, we can make the box a bit bigger. That means up to about 2,780, because that's where the sell-off started. So if we sweep this liquidity here, the bearish scenario would be a move down to 2,280. And if that breaks down, then we'll probably see lower prices for Bitcoin as well. In that case, for Ethereum, we might even look forward to buying opportunities around $1,800 or $1,900. Otherwise, for now, the scenario remains in play up to this point, up to our golden pocket. If we get rejected here, that's the bear scenario. If we break through, that's the bullish one, and then the $3,000 to $3,100 range is definitely back in play. Solana is also showing a clear recovery here. We talked about that again last week, bullish divergence. We still have our support area. Now we've already reached the golden pocket here, which we talked about last week. So Solana is recovering much faster here than the other altcoins. That's a positive sign. Of course, it also has a bit to do with the ITS, where we should see a bit more movement now, even though they haven't been approved yet. Still, Solana is looking positive for now. If Bitcoin, let's say, keeps pushing and can rise up to 108,000 US dollars, we'll probably see Solana up here in this area again, between 169 and 172 US dollars. Otherwise, just keep an eye on this area for now. Anyone who went long down here should definitely take some profits at this point, set their stop loss to entry, and the second target would be up here at 169 to 172 US dollars. Alright, let's move on to the traditional markets. So, what has actually happened there? We'll start with, good old DEX. Last week, it pulled back a bit, at least a little. But here too, we almost reached the target zone. So, on Friday we talked about how the correction could go down to our wick so that it would be filled. Okay, all well and good, it was almost fulfilled. For now, I'm also expecting a positive start to the day here. Still, it's the same game as everywhere else in the markets right now. The golden pocket is the key factor, or the deciding factor. If we break through it, okay, then new all-time high prices are possible here again. Otherwise, I would even consider building a small short position here in this golden pocket area, because, as I said, I still expect a correction. So, that's the plan for now. Keep an eye on this area, so that we can use this sell-off wick, which we're seeing everywhere right now, including in the crypto markets, to slowly start building a short position here. At least, that's what I'm thinking for the first time with the DEX. The Nasdaq has had some slight losses, but even here, the all-time high hasn't been reached yet. And you know, I'm actually more interested in the all-time high, so that we can pull the liquidity from up here one more time before making the turnaround. That means, if the US stock markets open positively and we have absolutely zero news today, that's a good setup, I'd say, for us to at least see another recovery here. And then some news could hit that would send us back down. But otherwise, the plan we've been following for weeks still stands, that we'll go up again here, reach an all-time high, and then, I'd say, only after that will we see this sell-off. The same thing applies, of course, to the Dow Jones and the S&P 500, etc., and so on. It's the same story everywhere, at least the S&P 500 has a bit of an easier path to the all-time high. I think it's less likely that the Dow Jones will reach its all-time high here. Then, last but not least, gold and, Forex, just very briefly. Gold is holding up very, very well and has once again reached its high at 3,450. At least it has surpassed this previous high over here. That's a positive sign. Let's see if we get a small pullback here, at least on the lower time frames. That wouldn't be a bad thing, so that we might be able to reach the all-time high up here. I strongly believe that we'll reach the all-time high here as well, just like in the traditional markets, hit the all-time high and then see a bigger, more significant correction. I can really see that happening. So for today, a pullback here wouldn't be a bad thing, down to $3,400 or even $3,360 to then go for the all-time high. And that could be, for me or maybe even for you, a little incentive to possibly open a long position here. And now, last but not least, the euro against the US dollar. Here too, we've swapped the high. We talked about this last week as well, that we've now swept the liquidity above here. Still, the trend is intact. Let's see if this scenario still plays out, that we might test this yellow uptrend line again first. If that holds, then the next step could be a move toward $1.17 or even up here into the €1.19 region. But honestly, I have to say, I don't really believe that the euro is going to overtake the US dollar anytime soon. It's a small hit. We know that capital is currently flowing out of US currencies, or rather out of the US, toward the EU, or of course, through the carry trade, also into the Japanese yen. How long that will last remains to be seen, but for me, my maximum scenario is up here at €1.19, or rather $1 or €1.20 up here. That's my maximum range, and then I will slowly but surely try to set up a more long-term short entry here. Otherwise, that's it from my side for now. Later, there will probably be either a stock video or an altcoin video. I'll take another look at that now. And otherwise, I'd say that's it from my side. Thank you for watching. We'll catch up again later, like I said. And otherwise, leave a like, subscribe, join the Telegram group, and feel free to share your opinion in the comments below. That's it from me. See you then. Bye-bye, and as always, stay crypto.